So today's video is going to be my September TBR. I mentioned that on my anticipated releases video, there are a lot of books that I need to get around to, but I'm really excited about a lot of the things coming out this fall. And I decided to try and incorporate some of those new releases to my TBR. So I've got those. I've got some other books that are books I want to pick up this season. But before getting into the books, a big thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for all of us readers with a mission to promote new and emerging authors and help us discover books that we're gonna love. And the way it works is that their team goes through hundreds of books every month, so that way we have a curated selection of new and early release titles we can spend more time reading and less time researching. They always have a fantastic mix of genres, but even then, if one month there isn't something that seems particularly up your alley, you can skip that month. Anytime you can skip any month and you won't be charged. You also can't beat the price for a hardcover brand new. It's only $9.99 with the code that I'll have in the description bar down below. This month's picks include the thriller Rock, Paper, Scissors, which says when a remote anniversary getaway turns eerie, a couple learns if their marriage can bear the weight of their secrets. We also have the memoir Beautiful Country. It's a debut, and it says it's a moving memoir filtered through a child's eyes about a Chinese family struggling in the shadow of the American dream. We also have a contemporary fiction, The Sweetest Remedy. It's an unexpected loss leading a young woman on a soul-searching journey to reconnect with her Nigerian family and find herself. Next, we have a romance called The Love Hypothesis, which is another debut. It says after a fake relationship generates real sparks, a rising scientist must decide if she's ready to experiment with love. And then you have a contemporary fiction called The Neighbor's Secret. This is actually an early release, and it says a suburban book club discovers life can be more disturbing than fiction when a vandal disrupts life on the cul-de-sac. Jumping into it and starting with the new releases, we have the third book in the Age of Madness series by Zhao Abercrombie. It is set to come out in September. At the time that I'm filming this, I have not yet completed everything of Zhao Abercrombie's in this world leading up to this third book. This is the first one, if you're wondering, in the series. But either way, I am really excited for this release. I'm really excited in general to read more Abercrombie. If you're a big Zhao Abercrombie fan, let me know, what are your favorites? Is it First Law, the standalones, Age of Madness, or his random YA series? Next up, we have a book that is not a new release for September, but it is a new release of this year that I didn't get the chance to get around to and very much want to, and that would be Redemptor. This is the sequel to Raybearer, which I quite enjoyed. The setup was a little bit darker than I was expecting. We follow a character whose mother has sort of magically forced her daughter to go on this mission to kill someone. The daughter has no idea why her mother wants this person killed, and in order to get close enough to this person, in order to kill them and fulfill this wish of her mother's, she grows to be friends with this person, and she doesn't want to kill them, and she's trying to find a way out of this. And there's a lot of themes that are quite heavy or important that I wasn't expecting in that first book, and I just thought the author executed them really well, and I really want to know what happens in the second one. By the way, how beautiful is this edition? Look at the edges. It's so beautiful. Speaking of beautiful books, next up we have Skyhunter. This is not technically a new release, and the reason I'm talking about how it's beautiful is because if you take the sleeve off, it has this amazing naked hardback. But anyway, the sequel to this one comes out soon, so I'm hoping to pick this one up in September. If I really like it, then I can try to get around to its sequel. I don't know a ton about it. I just know it's by Marie Lu, and it's sci-fi, which is enough for me because I've mentioned a few times now, Marie Lu is an author I want to read more of. Everything by her that I have picked up, I've quite liked. Even the ones that apparently aren't her greatest works, based off of everybody else's opinions, I liked those too. Warcross and Wildcard were sci-fi, and I know she has fantasy series, I think kind of dystopian if I'm not mistaken, but I enjoyed her sci-fi quite a bit. I've been wanting to get more into sci-fi, and I figured she would be a good one to pick up more of since I already like her work, so hoping to get around to Skyhunter. 3 more new releases that I'm hoping to get around to. We have Defy the Night. This is the first book in a new fantasy series by Bridget Kemmerer. She wrote the Cursebreaker series. If you don't know what series that is, the first one is A Curse of Dark and Lonely. And I really enjoyed that first book. I thought it was so fun, adventurous, familiar, because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but she did some things with it that I thought were new and creative. I had such a good time with that one. I thought the pacing was so fun. I really liked the characters. I didn't love the way that the trilogy went about. The first one was ultimately my favorite one, but I am excited to see how Bridget Kemmerer writes a new fantasy series. I still like her writing. I find it very enjoyable, very entertaining, very easy to get through. It just kind of flies by. So I'm hopeful that Defy the Night will be great, and then I'll love it the way I loved A Curse So Dark and Lonely. We also have She Who Rides the Storm. I did not know much about this book. I didn't see a ton of people talking about it, but when I made my anticipated releases video, I saw that there was a blurb by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm like, So I don't know a whole lot about it, but I, at the time, had looked up the synopsis, and I've since forgotten. But I remember thinking it sounded cool. And it comes out in September, so I'm going to try to read it in September. Another new release that I'm interested in would be Iron Widow. This is a story that is inspired by Chinese history, but also combines giant robots, I think. But everybody that has read early releases that I've seen talk about it seems to really love it. When I mentioned it in my anticipated releases for the fall, those of you who have read it were saying it's amazing, or you were saying I also can't wait. In general, I'm just really excited about this one. It sounds really interesting. It just sounds so unique. It sounds like nothing quite that I've read before. And even though I do every now and then like reaching for things that are cozy and that I'm used to and that you can just kind of sink into and they fall into the tropes you've seen before, every now and then you just want to pick up something that's very fresh and original. I'm hoping that's what we're going to get with this one. Speaking of things that all of you have said that have made me even more excited, I made a video recently where I took some of the books from my TBR and I ranked them based off of how much I predicted I would enjoy them, and then eventually I'll do a follow-up video to that and see where I actually ended up ranking them. And one of the books on that list was Codex Alera by Jim Butcher, and a lot of you said that you think I'm going to love it. So I'm really excited. One of you said that you thought it would be one of my favorite series up by Stormlight Archive. Those are, I mean, that's quite high praise. So don't get me overhyped. Just kidding. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm hoping to get around to this one in September. If not September, then at least October, because it just seems like it would be a fun one to read around Halloween. But at the very least, I want to read it soon. A couple of other books that popped up on that video I just referenced where I was ranking based off of where I think I'm going to like things. We have Rule of Wolves and She Who Became the Sun. So Rule of Wolves I put at the bottom because I didn't care for King of Scars, but I do want to know what happens next. I want to get more of the story within the Grishaverse, so that way if she writes anything else in that world, I'll be all caught up. I don't know if I'm going to like this. I've said many times, I just did not like some of what happened in King of Scars. I loved the first half, though. I loved the first half so much. So I don't know, maybe. I really didn't like what she did. I can't talk about it because it's spoilery. It's not just spoilery for the book, but also, obviously, you have to have read the Grisha trilogy and Shadow and Bone, or you probably want to before jumping into this one. So I can't really reference anything. I can't even reference the trope that she used that I didn't care for in this. But I didn't care for it. And I just don't think I'm gonna love it. I don't know. But I hope maybe I will. That would be really cool if she surprises me and brings it home. She Who Became the Sun, I have heard such phenomenal things about from so many different people. Even people that didn't seem to absolutely love it still either enjoyed it or seem to think that I'll enjoy it, or they just think it's a good book even if it's not their taste. It just sounds absolutely amazing. Once again, it's kind of taking history and then putting a fantasy spin on it, not in the same way where there's giant robot things, but it does kind of reimagine a few things from history, and apparently it reads almost like historical fiction, and I do every now and then really enjoy fantasy books that are written that way. There's a lot of themes also in this that sound really they sound like things that would be really great to dive into, and I've heard that this tackles those really, really well. We follow a character who I believe that there was a prophecy that said that her brother would be destined for great things, and then her brother dies, and she decides she's going to try to claim his destiny for herself, which sounds really, really cool. So I think there's themes of destiny, your themes of the kinds of roles that you are allowed to have based off of society's expectations, and then trying to defy those expectations and do what you think is what you deserve. And anyway, I'm excited for it. It sounds really great. Last on the list, even though there are so many other books I need to get to, if I can, I would really like to pick up Queen's Rising. I mentioned this in my seasonal fall TBR. This is kind of one of those books that while it's not highest priority as far as buddy reads go or patron picks or things like that, I just wanted to read it for a while. I got it in a book box forever ago, and I've just been interested in picking it up ever since, but I don't know if I'll get around to it. It might be one of those books that even though I feel like I have more obligation towards certain books on my TBR, that I might be in a mood, and because it's on my TBR, I don't want to read it, and so then I'll reach for this one, even though technically I am putting it on my TBR. But are any of you like that? I swear there are books I want to read so bad, and then when I officially make plans to read them, and I'm like, I'm going to read these this month, and then I'll sit and make reading plans, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read it this week, and I'm like, I don't want to. You know, do any of you do that? Or is that just me being a child? Anyway, hopefully I can get around to Queen's Rising. That's it for my September TBR. Definitely let me know what you are planning to pick up. Are you planning to pick up any of these? Have you picked up any of these? A big thank you again to Book of the Month. I'll have information about them in the description bar down below. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.